Welcome back to Good Day. You hear it all the time. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
Yeah, so important. But water, after a while, for some, it's boring and can get expensive if you're buying it by the bottle.
Yes, and you can have fresh, refreshing, fancy flavored water right at home. Patrice Powers-Barker from OSU Extension. She's an educator here in Lucas County. So you're going to join us this morning and kind of show us how we can add a little zip to just our water.
Fancyfy our water.
Yeah,
it already looks fancy here to me.
It does.
Right.
And the good news is it isn't that fancy.
Yeah, we can all do it.
Right.
Yeah, we can treat ourselves though and think it's fancy.
Exactly. Yes. And so just to kind of give that little extra, like you said, not everyone prefers drinking just plain water, but this is a way that we can just make it a little maybe more refreshing, look forward to that large glass of water, or maybe even our water bottles that we carry through the day. So we really want to say you don't have to go out and buy any new equipment or anything like that, but I will show you this one example.
There are some special ones out there.
Yeah, at any store, and there's water bottles that are similar. So this, I did it last night because if you chill it overnight, you're going to get a little more flavor.
Okay, nice.
So in here, we had purchased some watermelon and some rosemary.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh.
So those, as you know, with the weather, are not yet growing in our gardens or our farms or anything, but we really want you to think about what can you use that you can get at the grocery store, or you might be growing yourself. Or so, as I said, you don't have to have anything fancy, but I'll go ahead and pour two of these with. Yeah.
And you can find water bottles, though, just like that, right? To where you can just put all of that in. So as you're preparing the fruits, do we need to peel, slice? How should we prep it before we go into the water?
I'm drinking watermelon. I feel like I love it.
That's wonderful.
And so the next one will be, you can choose. So here, I'll also pour. So this one, as you see, is just kind of a plastic pitcher, nothing fancy. We're getting a little bit of that leaf in there. Not a huge deal.
So that would be the difference.
Yeah, not a huge deal. I could scoop that out before serving it if we weren't doing it by glass.
It smells minty.
So that is the mint. So just the mint is in there. And as you asked, so any fresh produce, we're going to wash it in clear running water, you know, just like we do any of other fruits and vegetables before we chop them up for, you know, veggie tray or fruit tray. So with that, if I was chopping up watermelon, I just kind of put some extra in here. We might eat some plain, but we've got this now in the fridge. I did just bring so there's nothing particular about measuring it out or anything. Maybe a couple cups of produce per large container, but I could make this as simple as my own. So I did bring these glass jars just so we could see through them. So these are actual canning jars if you're canning, but there's other
a lot of folks have
there's
these.
other equipment that you can buy if you're not actually canning with them. So I'm going to add a little bit of mint to there. Now this isn't going to taste as strong as the ones and that doesn't taste strong, right? It just has a hint of flavor.
But this sat overnight though.
Correct.
So that
doing
really
this fresh right now, I want to put that in the fridge for a couple hours or overnight.
And then,
but it's as easy as just putting it in there.
It's
Let it
just
sit.
you know, washing, using that clean cutting board. Now the fresh herbs, you might want to kind of smash them up a little bit or even chop them a little because you want to get the essential oils to flavor it.
So something I like a lot. I love cucumbers, right? And I feel like they're so good, refreshing. Can I add cucumbers to the water as well?
Absolutely, yes.
Vegetables?
So we think of more in fruits, but there's a lot of fruits and vegetables. So the cucumber slices is a very common vegetable you might use in there. And also, I mean, you might want to try that, the cucumber and mint or cucumber and another herb.
Yeah, sounds really good.
And so this is what, as we think ahead about those warm days coming, whether you grow your own produce and you just have a little extra or even those herbs, or if you're at the farmer's market and you're purchasing some of that, you know, use it for what you might be preparing and then save a little for your infused water.
And plus, I feel like sometimes you're cutting some and you're like, that one doesn't look quite right.
Yes, exactly.
Put it in the water.
Exactly.
So what about for the kiddos? Does this help? Because some kids, they don't want water, they want juice, right?
Correct. Yes. So, you know, there is nothing wrong with 100% juice. We're getting the nutrients from that, but we really want to be drinking a lot of liquid through the day and not just glasses and glasses of juice or even, you know, the sugar drinks. So it is kind of nice, especially maybe doing some individual ones that let the kids choose themselves. So if they're ready, maybe we do try to encourage kids to eat fruits and vegetables. So maybe letting them choose something at the grocery store or helping them do that washing and cutting. Even if it's, you know, much younger kids, having that plastic knife with, you know, watermelon, doesn't matter how they crush it up, right?
Pretty easy
so those single glasses are kind of a way to maybe try some flavors and and maybe do a thumbs up or thumbs down, whether that's their favorite, depending on their age. So we kind of have to find our own, right? What your flavors you like.
Whatever you like, and if the kids can get involved, that's all the better. And I saw on the website you had some, combinations that are pretty popular. Berries is another one, maybe blackberries, things like that.
And some melon.
Yes.
You can put in there. Yeah. What are some of your favorite combinations, or what?
This actually, I did bring this as one of our favorites because it's kind of surprising. Rosemary,
Oh,
so
rosemary.
It is kind of surprising and tastes pretty good. But that's where it kind of goes back to what do you have accessible, right? So putting together those different recipes, think about what you already have. You don't have to go out and buy something special. So different herbs that you might already have access to. The fresh work better than dried, so we'd really encourage that. And then kind of what's in season, right? So maybe to buy berries right now might be kind of expensive, or maybe there's some that are on sale. Try that one, right? If we're talking about stretching the dollar, and then back to what's in season in the garden. So like I said, cucumbers, in the middle of summer we've got so many cucumbers. We're eating them sliced and raw and in salads, and so it's just one other way to utilize.
And once we make the water, about how long should we have it around before we need to refresh?
I was gonna say, we want to follow food safety, right? So, I have this in the refrigerator overnight, probably up to 3 days, just like any other food or leftovers, right? So we're keeping it in the fridge. And then the nice thing about this, if you have a compost, that can go right into the compost,
there you go.
right? Not everybody does, but like I said, we really like to tie this in with our overall wellness and
feeling
depending
good.
what your interests are, right? If you're into looking at some of those sustainable options.
A lot of
That was
benefits.
delicious.
Really good.
I'm doing it.
Very
I'm gonna do it.
Nice, sweet way to stay hydrated. Thanks so much for joining us.
Today we appreciate